Absolutely,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Sure, ma'am.
If I'm not mistaken, we have a mixed bag here, right? We have the first year, second year, third year. We have all batches here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, great. So I will, well, you know, what I've put together is actually something that may make sense to all. So I've not made it year specific, but I think for all of us, when we join hotel management, there is a little conscious effort that each one of us needs to put into our own selves. How do we invest ourselves? And something like that becomes more critical in a period like this, because in a time when the country and the world is hit by the pandemic, uh, anything normal or any status quo has been changed. So whether it is academic education, whether it is the training inputs that you get on OJT, all of that I think has got impacted. Your classes are happening virtually, trainings have been reduced, or they've been cancelled or rescheduled, and you're losing out a lot of time in all of this. So in any situation, we always as students need to invest, but in current situation I think it becomes even more critical, that what should we do and how should we invest in ourselves so that we are ready for the market when situations get better. So that's a little we'll focus on today. I'm going to take a moment and share my screen with you.
And this topic, ma'am, is very close to my heart. I have been telling them from March 2020. I've been telling them that the most favorite one question that Vinti ma'am is going to ask you when you go to her is, how did you spend the last 1 year at home? What did you do during this 1 year? And this question will determine whether you're employable or not. And I don't know why they are not listening to us, and we're
No, in
telling them.
fact, I'm so glad you shared this, because I think that shows your foresight, that exactly able to read the industry, because we do understand that these are challenging times, and how is it that one can make yourself equip yourself for the future.
Yes, yes.
Thanks,
And I'm
Mr.
so thankful that you've chosen this topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Just give me a moment. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So, I wish I had a little more time, because now Mr. Mittal has made me nervous. I'm hoping that I live up to some of the expectations and the thoughts that you have, and we are able to put some perspective into what you should be doing. So this is only a guideline, and I think it's your playground, and it's important for you to ensure how you want to paint it, or how you want to really carve this path for yourself. But we'll go a little and try to understand what is it that we can do, or make some pointers in terms of what we can do. So I call this the journey begins, and I call this the journey begins because for each one of us, who've got enrolled into a hotel management college or any academic institution, I think that's the first step that we are taking to the life that we will have in the future. So it's actually a little step that you've taken towards what you want to make your life. And all we are saying is that if you're ready to take your journey, which is going to be your entire life in the future, let's start today with a planned step so that you're able to have a better future. So we'll talk a little about the industry and us, actually very little about the industry, just one or two slides about the industry, but a lot more about you today. And hopefully when we come on campus, we'll talk more of the industry then. So, we all know that all of you are going to be future leaders in this uh, country, or maybe across the world. You are studying hotel management, and each one of you, once you pass out, are looking forward to joining an industry that's fascinating. You think it's fun. It's definitely a kind of lifestyle upbringing that the industry adds in. Also, it offers a fairly competitive, well-paid industry. I mean, there were years, about 10 years, 15 years back, when we would say that hospitality is not a well-paid industry. But if you look at the top players in the industry today, I think they pay you packages which are equivalent to any of the MNCs that would be paying you. So it is proceeding towards becoming a good paymaster as well. And also, it's an industry that gives you a lot of advancement opportunities. It helps you grow in operations, it helps you branch into different functions. You can move into finance, you can move into sales, you can move into human resources, learning and development. You can also grow within the industry. There are people who've studied hospitality and moved into banking, retail. So the number of opportunities that you get in this industry, I think it's immense. And we all understand and know certain facts. These are some of the facts of the industry. A few more characteristics of the industry. Uh, Before I go on, I'd like to ask the audience, is there any one specific characteristic about our industry which is different from others? How are we different from a manufacturing industry? How are we different from a car manufacturer, or maybe a cell phone manufacturer, or maybe from a cloth retailer? How are we different? Anybody?
Industry, we are deal with peoples, not machines.
Okay,
Ma'am,
we deal with
we
people
work
and not
live.
machines. Great. What else?
Ma'am, we always keep
We
smile
work
on the
live.
face. We don't have any factory or sort of thing where the product should be developed. No.
Wonderful. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Thank you. So, besides the fact that we deal with people, there are many other industries also who deal with people. But as Vipul shared, that our industry is such that while we are focusing a lot on our services, a lot of our services are something which is what we call intangible. So, when a customer buys a mobile phone, or if he buys a car, or if he buys a refrigerator, he actually buys a product and takes it home. But as far as we are concerned, what is it that the customer goes back with? So if he comes and stays with us, he uses the product in our own premises and goes back empty handed. If he comes and eats with us, he eats the food in our premises, goes back empty handed. I understand that today we have cumin and we are doing food deliveries, but end of the day, the product is something that doesn't live on. What is it that lives on? It's only the experience of the customer. And that is one thing which is making our industry separate. So one is that our services are intangible. Products are for use, not for possession. You can't own them. All that you can own is the experience that you take back with you. Second, there is obviously, our production and consumption of the product for each guest will be slightly different. So while we try our best to have customized, standard products, but eventually we are ending up customizing it for each customer that comes to us. So this is something different. Also, a fact that our products are perishable. So in our case, if we don't sell, if it's a 100-room hotel and you don't sell all the 100 rooms on Monday, you can't sell 200 rooms on Tuesday, right? So your products are perishable and they need to be sold on a particular day. So that's why these are some of the unique traits that our industry differentiates from others. And there's one major point in today's time that's got added, that operating in COVID times for our industry has become completely different. So we've taken actually a 360-degree turn because of the COVID pandemic situation. So in a time when we would speak about guest interaction, in a time where we would speak about giving additional services, in a time where we'll talk about spending more time with the guest, today we've gone to a completely 360-degree turn where we are saying touchless service, contactless arrivals. We are talking about, contactless deliveries. We are saying limit the services to a guest room. So most of this is now something that we are battling or coming up with? Sorry, I'm going to keep my video switched off for a while because my network is slightly weak. So sometimes it starts hanging because of the video, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I'll add to it once we are towards the end of the presentation. Thank you.
That's all right, ma'am.
Thank you. So as I was saying, we are stuck again. Just give me a moment. So I'm assuming that each one of us who's in college understands how our industry is different and also would understand that within the COVID times, our challenges are very different. So in a factory, you may still be producing products to be selling to customers. Your only challenge for a manufacturing industry would be that maybe the sales are dipping today. In our case, the sales are dipping, the services have to be redesigned, the product has to be redesigned. I mean, come to think of it, all restaurants have been shut. So during the last pandemic, we had about 3 months of lockdown where all restaurant business was stopped. Currently, again, all restaurants and five-star hotels are shut in Delhi. We are only operating through the IRD, or we are only operating through Qmin, which is our home delivery app. So the kind of impact it has on business is immense. So it's not just the sales dipping down, but redesigning or launching of a completely new area that we are tackling today. So while we know what's happening in the industry, let's understand what's happening with us. So why are all of you here? You're obviously here because you're part of the college. And why are you in college? So this is a very popular slide with me. I say that there are different types of students who go to college. So there are some who are very focused. They know they wanted to do hotel management and thus they join hotel management. There are few who have no clue what they want to do. So they say, I have no clue what I want to do. So let me do hotel management and then we'll take a call. And then there are some who are happy go lucky and they're okay to do anything. So I think that every institute, every academic college will have some mix of all of these. So some of us are here because we want to earn a degree and maybe we want to study further or do something else. There are some of us who will be in college because we want to study and then get a job. There are some of us who don't plan to get a degree or job. They want to do something completely different, but they just want to improve their personal skills. And then there'll also be a set who has no clue. They said, might as well do this till we figure out what we want to do. So, irrespective of which category you are, because I'm sure each one of you has a different vision for yourself, I think what we will talk about today, it may be relevant. So, whatever is your vision, you may want to figure out what is your path that you want to create as per that. So, I think Tushar was sharing, he spoke a little about some of the skills and qualities that employers seek. I just put a slide together that we use on our uh, campus presentations, saying that most of the employers look for things like communication skills, interpersonal abilities. We look at your basic subject knowledge. We look at your value system in terms of integrity, honesty. That is something we try to judge in the interaction we have with you. We look at what are some of the initiatives you've taken in college, how self-motivated you are, what are the kind of work ethics that you practice, and then are you a team player? What are some of the team skills that you have? So these are some generic areas that every employer likes to look at. And also, uh, certain skills and qualities that colleges help student in developing. So obviously if that's what the industry wants, so the college also always invests in giving you a lot of these skills. So they try to give you the domain knowledge, which is what your subjects are, or the theory that you learn, or the practicals that you do in college. So the subject matter is something that the college helps you with. They also assist you with giving you an opportunity to train in the industry. So they try to find you good industry mentors and partners who actually let you train there. And by doing these two, three things, you actually end up developing areas of interpersonal ability when you do something as simple as a session that we are doing today. There are certain tips that you may take back, the way you're conducting yourself, the way you'd like to open a session, what is the kind of interpersonal ability, when to speak, when to ask a question, how to listen. All of that comes in here. Communication, again, orally and in written, is something that's backed by this. You learn to appreciate diversity and commonalities in people. By being in a college, you'll have different set of diverse people studying with you, different faculty members. So you see a lot of commonality, still there's diversity within that. So while you're all part of a batch, while you're all part of a class, you may have different views and thoughts. Similarly, you come across situations where they give you problem solving ability and variety of different settings. There are certain academic activities you may be doing, certain special days you may be planning, maybe some meal experiences, maybe certain, festival celebrations. So there are different kinds of situations that are created by college to give you a variety of all this, where you can show your critical thinking, you can develop your team behavior, show your ability to plan, also display discipline in everyday activities. So all of this, we say, is something that supports what is the industry looking for. But by and large, by the time you finish college, the world may be slightly different. One, purely because of the pandemic. Second, there is a lot that's happened in the last 1 year and currently also. So, a lot of inputs that you were to receive, whether it was theory or it was OJT, has got changed or shifted. So you're not having practical classes in the college. So you have zero practical inputs. You're not going for OJT. So you're really not seeing how the industry is working. You don't see real life situations. All that you've probably got inputs is in theory. So when we pass out in the year 2023 or 2024, do you think we will be ready or we will be half baked? If the pandemic continues, do you think we'll be completely ready for the industry? Maybe not, maybe yes, I can't say, depending on how we cope up or invest in ourselves. And that is what I think you should focus on. If
Ma'am,
you're
I would like to interfere
yes,
here.
yes, sir.
Ma'am, at IHM Meerut, you see, we were locked down on March and
Right.
we opened in December, and we were the only college that had opened up in December. From December till April, we did practicals in the morning and practicals in the evening, and we made sure that we had almost no theory classes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I can assure you, ma'am, that at IHM Meerut, the management is very dynamic. And when I talk about management, it is not just me. We have a team of management, and we are very dynamic, and we make sure that our students are industry fit by the time they pass out. In fact, one of the students, what's his name, Sumant Kumar, had asked me this question: sir, how are we going to deal with the loss of practicals that has happened? And I answered him like this only, that don't worry, Sumant, by the time you pass out, we will make sure that you are fully equipped with all the practicals and everything that you need to know. Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Mittal. In fact, that's one part as we go forward. I'll speak about that. Having the agility to change what you've been doing and do it differently is one of the ways that we do this. So glad to know, because we also run a program called the Golden Threshold GTP, which is a 3-year program, which is highly operational and practical based. So with the reduction in the OJT time, because people were not coming to work during the pandemic, we actually had to redo the schedule. So as you are saying, similarly, reschedule theory for a later time, and whenever hotels are open, just focus on practical. So it's good to know that that's something
Wonderful.
similar that college has done. It's
Wonderful.
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 So, while a lot of your seniors and faculty and the college will take initiatives to plug in such things, let's not sit back and feel that we've lost out an opportunity. Maybe we can't train so much. Let's see what is it that we can do more, and how is it that we can supplement and complement to ensure that we have more inputs here. So before we go on to that, again, a quick slide. I'm just sharing with you, when we did some research about 7, 8 years back, we said, what are some of the behaviors that successful students engage in? And we came up with this huge list, qualities of successful students. And it spoke about students, taking responsibility is a quality, staying motivated is a quality, showing curiousness, enjoying learning. So a lot of these, having goal orientation, believing in yourself. But one thing that stood out and was very strong for us was somebody who takes every opportunity to learn. So if you want to be successful, I think not just a student, each one of us should make sure that we use every opportunity that we get to learn. So if you've seen that movie Three Idiots, there's something Amir Khan says there, no?
ज्ञान सब जगह बट रहा है.
Kya? What did he say?
मैम he used to say कि ज्ञान सब जगह है.
हाँ,
जितना
ज्ञान
तरीका
सब
बदल दो.
जगह है, उसके लिए सिर्फ
जितना
यूनिफॉर्म लगता है. हाँ, so I'm saying आजकल यूनिफॉर्म भी नहीं लगता, because everything is available to us on the internet. Yes, it is different because when you have so much of vast information available, it becomes difficult, and that is why it's important to be part of a good academic institute like yourself, IHM Merit, where you have guidance, controlled environment, and you have people actually taking charge or responsibility of your learning. So while that is happening, we need to see that how you use beyond that opportunities to develop yourself and to become the perfect fit, to make sure that you fit into the industry well in the year 2023 or 24, and you become that perfect white piece here. One of the things that's important is the only word that you can see well: focus. So, how do we maintain focus in a distracted world? Today, besides the social media distractions, besides mobile phone, besides the fact that you can switch off your camera or you can switch on your camera and you can be physically present but mentally absent, and with everything else that's happening around us in terms of, some of the health challenges, medical challenges, families going through so much of trouble, the world really getting impacted by it, with all of that negativity around, with all of the distractions around, with limited services operational, how do you stay focused? Because your focus is only one. Your focus is to create a focused path of learning for yourself, for each one of you. So what I'm sharing with you now on this slide is something, those are my thoughts. This is nothing that Taj Hotels says you should follow. But I think this is something that will help you at least pinpoint the 5 things that you may want to do during this time, which will make a difference to your life when you pass out and also maybe in the future. So let's look at each one of that. And I've formed an acronym here of focus. Let's look at the first word here, which is focusing. So focusing on really what? I think the first step here is to focus on your course and the basics. So there is one thing I believe, that everything you may do in the world of hospitality and change everything, but your mother sauces don't change. Your French classical menu doesn't change. The basics of food and beverage will not change. There's a lot new that will happen in the world, but everything that's basic and everything that is established is something that has to stay. And that is what I think you need to be ensuring that you're investing in firstly. So while you may not be 100% in college and your classes may be limited to a couple of hours, what stops you from knowing what is your syllabus? What is it that we need to study? You all have your books. So please make sure that your syllabus is something that you are more than 100% aware of and focusing on. So whether it's, and I say more, in the first year, what you learn in the first year is something that goes with you even till the end of your career. Even today, I would expect my director of food and beverage to know the sizes of table linen. I'd like my food and beverage director to know what are the capacities of certain glasses. I'd like him to know what are the accompaniments with certain meals, what are the kind of covers that you'd like to set up. So all of this is something that will stay with you. It's like the ABC of your field or your industry. So you can never write a paragraph if you don't know the ABC. So let's stick to our basics and learn up all that is there in our course books, the first, second, and third year. The second is what I call the online university. Now, this is very interesting, but very dangerous also. It has all sorts of information available. So how do you choose what should you do and what should you not do? So one tip for online university or doing something online, pick up things which are either supplementing or complementing your subjects. So what is the meaning of complementing and what is the meaning of supplementing? Anybody? So how do you, yes.
Yeah, it is actually what you are doing. Like it is related to your of career that you have chosen. For example, if I'm doing hotel management and administration, so the
Right.
next thing online courses that I'll be choosing would be something related to the hotel industry only, or it could be related to administration.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I agree with you, but I have a slight difference of opinion here. And I agree with courses when you're talking about. Here, when I say online university, it's like how we say WhatsApp university, where there's a load of information, but I'm not really speaking about specific courses. I'm talking about material that's available online. So when you say supplement and complement, supplement means something that aids more information to your subject. So if you're learning about beer, is there something more about beer that you can learn from online? So if your book only talks about the 10 beers that are available, find out which are the top 15 in the world and find out more about it. And complementing means, can you find out which are the top brands which are selling, what is the kind of volume of business that they do? So go beyond that subject in terms of information which is still complementary to that subject. Okay, so if you're studying about Oriental cuisine, can you find out what are the top Oriental restaurants across the world? Okay, if you're speaking about Italian cuisine, which are the top Italian chefs across the world? What are some of the food trends there? So try to, whatever you study in your theory, try to add more material to that, what is not on your textbooks through the online sources. So you have your subjects, add more value through it through the online information that's available. The next part is what I think one of you just shared about courses. So the C in focus is about courses that you'd like to add to your knowledge or skill. So while you are not probably, spending as much time developing your skill, is there something additional you could do? Are there courses on beverages which have a certification? Are there courses available on certain skills that you could upload? Is there something about tea you can learn and that's certified? Is there something about coffee that you can learn? Today, there are multiple beverage companies that, are running different courses on wines, on spirits. So if that's your area of interest, why don't you look at that? So look up a course. These days, we are flooded with a lot of, certificate courses, which are short term, give you a scheduled and a structured knowledge piece, and also give you a kind of a certificate that you can add to your CV. So besides building on your knowledge and skill, you're also adding certain traits to your skill. Another very interesting thing for our industry is pick up a language. Something as simple as, picking up one or two languages and being at least having the initial proficiency in that. And if you feel then that this is a flair or you're enjoying languages, you could go a long way, because in our industry, an additional language always works wonders. So focus on what is it that an additional course could be added. You may choose any one or two that's to your liking, but definitely do that. The next or the second last thing that I tell everyone is that if you're aspiring to become a management trainee or operations management trainee or a future HOD or leader, I think this is one area that you must invest in now. When we are talking about presentation skills, when we are talking about Excel skills, when we are talking about advanced Excel, I think in today's management and leadership, there are no experts who are doing this. Each one has to make your own presentations, have your own data analytics in place. So this is one thing which is extremely big, and especially I say presentation skills and you know advanced Excel. The kind of formulas, work, data analytics that you'll do on this is immense. So if you have time and you can invest on this now, trust me, it will be such a wow factor on campus interview, because when you're going for interview and you meet a candidate who tells you, I have done something on advanced Excel to upgrade my skills, trust me, it is a delight. So try
Ma'am,
to do that.
can I disturb you for a minute?
Yes, please.
I must share something very interesting here. In March 2020, there were faculty in our institute who did not have WhatsApp on their phones. And in April 2020, those same faculty were conducting online classes full on with video. It was a matter of survival for them.
Absolutely. In fact, thank you, Mr. Mittal. So, that shows that how adaptability and agility is important, because today the world is changing. And if
Absolutely.
you're not able to, be technically savvy, it's something that is a challenge in your own performance. So when you have the time for it today, each one of us, like Mr. Mittal said, we had, as hoteliers, we had never thought that my whole team would be sitting virtually and doing programs. I've been running Train the Trainer for, our company for the last 10, 12 years. But last year was the first time that we ran a virtual Train the Trainer. We actually trained people in how to conduct virtual training. And it was amazing to see how within a 2-month gap, everyone was able to move to a virtual platform. And along with that, all reviews, meetings, everything in today's world has changed to a virtual setup, and everyone is expected to know a lot of what I'm sharing with you. And most of if you go into the business world today, whether our industry or anywhere, data analytics and the ability to analyze data is something that's big. So try looking, and also representation of data. So I think Excel and PowerPoint is something that very strongly stands out there. And for most of the programs also, if you see the OCLD or the HDP or the ITC program, I think every trainee who comes in the first 3 months and then every subsequent month is only working on a presentation for their reviews. So if you have that skill already, life will become much simpler for you. Thanks, Mr. Mittal. And then I'll move on to the last part of this focus. Any thought what this could be? What this S could mean? So I think we have different diversity to our share. So here the S means being the subject matter expert. So all of us are studying hotel management. There are multiple subjects. Find that one subject or one area which is your passion. While as an executive, as a manager, when you grow into a general manager, you're expected to know everything. But still, each one of us, has one passion. Mr. Mittal would agree. Our hotel manager is a student from your college, from IHM Meerut, Vinod.
Yeah.
And so Vinod today, he was
Mr.
the
Vinod Pandey is an alumni of IHM Meerut. Students, I am announcing Mr. Vinod Pandey, the general manager of IHM Meerut, of Taj Hotels, the hotel in which I did my industrial training in 1985. He's our alumni.
Thank you, ma'am. Carry on, please.
Thanks. So, in fact, Vinod is a very dear and old colleague. And the first time he worked with us was when he was heading the chambers at Taj Mahal, Delhi. And then he came back almost after 10 years as the hotel manager for that hotel. And now he's moving to Lucknow as the general manager for our Lucknow hotel. But the fact is that, today Vinod heads, multiple functions. And obviously when he's heading a unit, he heads different operational HODs. But his passion that he had was his one subject that he was extremely passionate about was wines. And I recall that when we started off 10 years back, Vinod was as passionate about wines then and even today. So anything about wines, if you want to know there's anything happening in the world, it's not possible that he wouldn't know even today. So find out which is the one subject that you like. So if you like front office, can you find out one thing in front office that you would know better than anybody else in your college? If you like food and beverage, find out the one thing about within food and beverage that you want to study and nobody else in your college would know better than you. So it could be something as small as cheese. So you say that my passion is cheese, and I'm going to find out everything that's possible in the world to know about cheese. And it's not tough today. There's in so much information available. There's so much research you can do. So find out that one passion project of yours, or find out that one subject which you know better than anyone else in the world. Because if you're able to crack this, when you sit on campus interview and people ask you, so what are you good at? All you have to do is, I'm good at cheese. And trust me, you have prepared yourself. 70% of your interview is won because you already know everything about cheese. And when they ask you, you've already guided them towards that, right? So find out that one thing. If it's housekeeping, you like flowers, find out about flowers. And nobody in your college should know as much about flowers as you. So find out that one thing which is your passion, your specialization, and your subject. And when I say subject, I don't mean a whole, field. But within that field also, you can just pick up something as simple as coffee. Can you know everything that's to know about coffee in this world? So whether it is, a small information, any trivia, any tidbit, or if it is the kind of regions that coffee comes from. So find out that information and stick to that. And I think that becomes your game changer. And when you're talking about passion, we say that education is not filling of a bucket, but it's lighting of a fire. So, we can only take information to you and share that information. So as a college, as industry expert, we can only share information with you. But what we'd like for you to do is really have a fire in your belly. And that will happen when you are able to identify your area of interest, your passion. And once you've done that for yourself, read about it, study about it. So what if you've not, opened 20 bottles of wine? And if so, what if you've not practiced how to do service of wine? But did you invest in yourself reading everything about wines there is to know? I think that in interviews really stands out. So this is one area I say, choose a small piece, but do it in detail and do it to an extent that nobody can know better than you. And it's not tough. Even a month or 2 months of investing in this will help you, master, not really master, but really try towards mastery of that subject. And then of course, it's a journey that keeps going on till you live. You keep updating it, uploading it. So on the thought, after those 5 focus points that we were talking about, I just want to say that as companies, while we say we look for so many traits and tasks, there are basically 3 things we look for. We look for knowledge, we look for skills, and we look for attitude. Trust me, skills is the least important. While it is very important, but we say that skills over time we can still build. Knowledge, we also believe we can build, but we know that you've invested 3 years in college. So we'd like you to come with some set of understanding and base. And attitude is something that becomes the most important for us, because we feel if you have the attitude of learning, if you have identified your passion, if you have a certain level of focus, you'll be able to, make sure that you stitch up the knowledge and skill together and go very far in the industry. So attitude for us actually is on top when we are hiring. But along with that, knowledge is something that we want to see you've invested in. And finally, skills, we also as industry understand that this has been an area for us also. Skill sets have changed. Today, service is happening very differently in hotels. So we can't really depend on the old skill sets of how to serve tea, how to serve coffee. All of that has changed. So we understand this is dynamic and will keep changing. We'll keep upgrading. But at least the top part that we're speaking about knowledge, and the bottom part, the attitude, is something you should really focus on bringing to the table. And frankly, in the end, your success in the industry is not about anyone else but you. So, depending on how much you invest in yourself, you will be able to take it forward. So, that's all that I had to share with you at this stage. I'm going to,
Thank you, ma'am. Lovely.
I
Now,
think I've overshot slightly.
no, that's all right. Before we proceed any further, I would like to launch a poll, a small general poll, with your permission, ma'am,
Yes, please.
just to see how attentive our participants were. Very simple questions. The poll has been launched. Please answer quickly, students. Ma'am is in a bit of a hurry.
No, no, take your time.
There are 3 questions. No, 2 questions. The panelists, the co-hosts won't be able to vote. All the others must vote. So far, we have 58% voting, which is not good. Come on, hurry up. %70 voting. It has to be 80%. Come on. Okay, last 10 seconds remaining. Please hurry up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We end the poll at 78%. Let me share the results with Vinti ma'am and with the rest of you. The first question was, which hotel is Miss Vinti Bahel Serawat, the L&D manager of? 18% said Taj Mahal, India. Wrong.
But I will give it to them. So while I had the training for Delhi NCR, but I do head the management training programs pan India. So
All right, all right.
I'll be
18%
nice to
people
just
are right, and so are 82% people who are also right that she's looking after Taj Hotels, Delhi and NCR. Okay. The second question was topic of the meeting today. What is the topic of meeting today? How to invest in ourselves in the current times? Yes, 53% are correct. 26% people said, how can we be successful as a hotelier? No, no. Even though you're not wrong entirely.
Some of that, yeah. Yeah,
and
but
the last option was how to prepare for a job interview. Yeah, 12% you are right, but you will not get 100 out of 100.
absolutely.
You will probably get 30 or 40 out of 100.
That was just one bit that we spoke about, but you're right that the larger
Yes.
chunk was about how to invest in ourselves.
You see, which begs me to tell you that when you give an exam, read the question 10 times before you start answering. The examiner is not a fool. He knows what is being asked. And if you do not answer pinpointedly to the question, if you waste my time, I'm going to cut your marks. Simple as that. All right. So please read the question 10 times and then answer the question. Now I would like to open the session for Q&A, questions and answers. Students who wish to ask questions can switch on their cameras and ask them directly to Miss Vinti. Students who do not wish to expose themselves can put it on the chat box or do it orally. Abhishek sir, please take over.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mittal. I'll wait for any questions if anyone has.
Students, please ask the questions, or you can write in your chat.
But, please promise to ask simple questions. I'm very scared of difficult questions. Okay, jokes apart, anybody? Any thoughts, views, any queries anybody would like to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening, principal sir and faculty members. I'm the student of HHF first year. HM Meerut, ma'am. I want to know, ma'am.
Yes.
As we all know that Taj groups are the worldwide famous. Yes, ma'am. And what for the I have to work. I also want to work in Taj group and also want to do IT in Taj. So, ma'am, what they teach from the different hotels? So they are called the worldwide famous.
So, I'd like to say that every organization has, so while we are all in the same business, what really makes us different is what is your values and culture. So I think values and culture and your service ethics is something that changes or defines any organization. So for us, one of the strongest bit is that we belong to a group that's called the Tatas. And the Tata Group is a very strongly rooted organization with very inbuilt value system and culture as well. So I think we drive our values from the Tata Group, and also we've been the first hotel chain that's really started in the country. So we opened in 1903, and our premier hotel, which is the Taj Mahal Hotel Mumbai, was a trendsetter in its own way. So considering, I think we are the oldest and with some of the strongest value legacies. Today, when we talk about being different, I think the one word that comes to my mind is the word Tajness. Tajness is defined as the way Taj Hotels does things. So we call that anything that we do differently is our way of doing things, and our way of doing things is called Tajness. So I think that's one thing. And Tajness is, of course, something that's evolved over the years. It's evolved because of our values, it's evolved because of our culture, it's also evolved because of our journey. So 100 plus years of service that has helped us to really define how we should do things. And that is what, makes us different from others, I would say. And one point for you, you said you want to work in the future with the Taj. I think the journey for you will begin if you get an opportunity to train with the organization. So whenever you aspire to be part of an organization as a student, always try to see if you can get a learning opportunity with them, either OJ on-job training. If not, even if you want to do a small summer internship, try reaching out for that. We'll be more than happy to support it, so that you actually see work in an organization and see it for, you are a mutual fit. Because sometimes you fall in love with an organization when you work, and sometimes you don't like them. So it's always nice to train with them to see if the cultural fit matches, and if it does, then it's good to look at a career with them.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, principal sir, for giving the opportunity, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
One student has raised a question.
Yes.
He is asking question that if we grab a knowledge of more than one department, for example, front office or housekeeping or F&B service or production, so how beneficial it will be for them?
So all I would say is that while we love bowlers and batsmen, but all-rounders are all-rounders. So nothing like it. We believe that when we have a management training program, our endeavor is, we tell our management trainees, in fact, I've taken over I used to handle the program till about 5 years back, and for the last 5 years, it was running out of Bombay. So I've taken over again from this year. And what we've been telling them is that when we actually want to post you after your management training program, you shouldn't have a preference whether you want to be a duty manager or a restaurant manager. You should be so capable that if the company wants you as a DM for 6 months, you work as that. If you want to be a restaurant manager for the next 6 months, you should be open to that. And that's the kind of skill level you should have, because our our objective is not to just keep you as a duty manager or a restaurant manager. You want to become a hotel GM tomorrow. And if you have to be a hotel GM or go above that as a vice president or whatever, I think you need to know all areas. So if you can start that early, nothing like it.
These are
So
the
just
exact
to,
words. These are the exact words of Prashant. Prashant spoke to our students. Prashant is the L&D for Hilton.
okay, okay.
Exact same words. He said, gone are the days when you say I'm a chef. Gone are the days when you say I'm a front office
Yeah,
manager.
absolutely.
Those days are things of the past.
So, just sharing, we have a chef in our hotel, and we feel he's an excellent candidate for a GM. So it's been already 3 times the organization has told him that, listen, please move in as a general manager. So he doesn't want to do it now because he's extremely passionate, but his competence is of all functions. So that's why the organization offered. In my case, I would like to share. So, when I finished hotel management, my final orientation, or we used to have something called as internship in Aurangabad, 3 months. So my specialization and internship was food and beverage. But when I joined in front office. I have no clue why. And after I joined, they told me again, you want to move to food and beverage, because I topped food and beverage, and I topped my project. So for me, it was like a fight that I've already done that. So let me do front office. I wanted to prove that I'm equally good for front office. So I didn't change. I continued front office. And then I moved into learning and development. And about 5 years or 10 years into L&D, and in fact, till recent last year, they're asking me if I want to move back to hotel operations or get into general management. So I think as you go along, you have to be neutral to all functions, and your competence should be there for all. But if you can start it early, I think it's wonderful. It's perfect. That's what the industry needs. But having said that, we don't hold you, accountable that you know only one subject. There's a different pattern each one chooses. If you're not comfortable with two, one is your passion, that's fine. As you go along, you can pick up others. But if you have it in the early stages, it's nice.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Vipul,
Yeah.
and I want to ask this question for all the students of our college. Ma'am, today's situation as the corporate is going on lower, what valuable suggestions you will like to give to our students so that they can develop for their career, the upcoming career?
So, one, of course, we spoke about these 4-5 things they must do. Try to add value to yourself by one, ensuring that your basics are strong. Because, this 1-2 years that we've lost time as an industry or as an fraternity, I think what you can do for yourself is make sure that you are strong in your basics, so that this is something that doesn't need to be done again when you come and join the industry.
Yes.
Second, add to your skills. So whether it is Microsoft Excel skills, or it is some kind of courses you want to pick up, add extra weightage on your CVs. It will is something that will be looked at. Thirdly, I think also it's very important, and I think this is the most important, to stay open minded. When I say open minded, the world has changed. Jobs are not going to be what they were 2 years back or 3 years back. Today, hotels are looking at multi-skilling. Today, hotels are also looking at, hiring base level, not hiring managers, not hiring trainees. The staffing in hotels has become so lean. When I say lean, a hotel like Taj Mahal Delhi, which used to have 600 employees, today operates with just 100 employees who are, based out of the hotel. So they are living in the hotel to ensure that the safety of the guest and their own safety. And rest of us are working from home. So I'm saying, in such situation, which are the top 100 who are picked up to work? Those who are multi-skilled, those who are open to doing any task. So stay open And don't look at, when campuses happen a year from now or 2 years from now, there are chances that, companies will only come and hire for frontline or for supervisory positions and not for management positions. But it doesn't matter, because that's the only 1 or 2 initial years. If you're good at your job, you would grow into a manager within, a year or 2 years period. So just stay open to opportunities that come. Make sure you choose good brands and make sure you choose good cities when you're looking at working, so that your exposure and learnings are better.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Bhargavi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So, ma'am, my question to you is that if a child is filled with confidence and great communication skill along with basic French, and the problem is that he or she is not great with knowledge, basic knowledge.
Bhargavi, why don't you show yourself?
So, what could be the option?
Just switch on your camera.
Ma'am, the camera is not switching on. I've switched my device twice from my mobile phone to my laptop. I don't know what it is. It is not switching on.
Does this help? Never mind. Please carry on.
Go on, Bhargavi. So you're saying that a student is confident and has good communication and is also learning French. And what is the last part you said?
And not great with that basic knowledge. So how they should go with?
So I would say that whoever this student is somebody who's either in the first, second, or third year. And you still have a year to go before you pass out, or 6 months to go before you pass out. I would say that you must start investing now. I'm not saying, knowledge is the only thing we look at, but, it is definitely a reflection. So when I say you may not be 100%, but at least if you're not able to cross the 50-60% mark in theoretical subjects or in the knowledge piece, that means you've not really invested in the college curriculum. So we do look at that as also an attitude thing. So I'm not saying we expect 100% proficiencies in the knowledge piece, but at least basics, some of the basics, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up on the way. So do that. That's something we say is like a benchmark you need to cross over. So you may not be able to, be the expert in wines, but at least basic wine knowledge or, some terminologies you can do. Alternatively, you choose that one area that you like and just try to study about that. We are fine with that. So we don't expect you to know basics of everything, but at least your passion, your area, your subject, you choose what that is and invest in the knowledge for that.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much. And one more question, if I'm allowed to.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, what if you could guide us with the criteria of management trainee, how he or she should get up with?
So when you say criteria, are you saying what are the rounds we look at? Or?
Yeah, exactly. What are the rounds? What are the different areas that we need to more focus on? It is like the same as interview one, or it is quite different?
Okay, so criteria, if I say, there are a couple of things which are prerequisites. One is, of course, before we come on campus, we'd like to see what is the kind of, we are not saying that it is used to select or reject candidates, but it is used as a reflection. So we do look at your attendance records. We look at your academic performances. And in both of these cases, if your college is looking at whatever your minimum cutoffs are, so if you're 70 or 80% is your attendance cutoff, or 50 or 60% is your academic cutoff. So we look at that. That is only a reflection. We never use that to eliminate, but we keep that as a marker as we go ahead in the interviews. And then post that, what we do is generally as a campus process, we start off with a written test, which is like an elimination round, in which, again, what you've studied in the 3 years is something that we quiz you on. It's a very basic paper, and it talks about all the fields that you've studied, just the basics of all fields, multiple choice. And here again, it's not, there is no percentage of 80-90% that we look at. We look at a 50% pass percentage. So anyone who crosses that comes into a further round. Post that, there's a group discussion that happens, which lets us learn a little more about your communication ability, interpersonal skills. Post the group discussion, we have something that we called as an online assessment. In that online assessment, we give you certain situations, a few role plays, certain psychometric tests, and a little bit of analytical ability is seen. It's fun. It's like a gaming experience. So you do all of that. There's a little role play also that's given, which just helps us to know you a little better. And then based on all of those inputs, we get a sense, and we have the first personal interview. So all of these put together, none of these are seen as a elimination, but all of these put together give us an insight whether you'll make it or not. And if we feel you're a candidate who will make it, you go up to the final interview panel with the senior leadership. So about 4 or 5 activities is what are done. During the journey, we decide some of us who we feel will make it to the HDP or the management trainee, and some we feel who will make it through the HOMT. No major difference there. We just feel people who are passionate about the industry and all functions and probably have the ability to learn faster are put on the management training program. Others who are excellent in one function or are stable people who will grow by learning by doing, those are the people who get into the HOMT program. So the only difference in the two programs, we say somebody we feel who will be able to manage multiple things and a very fast track program in 18 months, because it's very it becomes extremely packed and difficult to cope with. So people we feel have the ability to cope with a fast tracked, very packed program, they get into the MT program. And those we feel that would need a little time to pick up an area and then move forward, get into the HOMT program. So these are, this is how we really look at it. And as you said, some of the common things we look at is, of course, your communication ability, basic knowledge awareness, general awareness is something that's also looked at, and interpersonal skills. So does that answer your question? Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, for GMT, ma'am, how many interview occurs?
For?
GMT, Golden Threshold Program.
Okay, that's the GTP, Golden Threshold Program. I don't think you will be eligible for the GTP, because GTP is like what you're already doing. GTP is a program that is for 12th pass students, and it is like a hotel management 3-year course. So the only difference in the program is that once we select these 30 students after 12th standard, we enroll them into Tata Institute of Social Science, where they do a bachelor's in vocational vocational in hospitality management, and they do like a 5-day OJT and 1-day theory class kind of a curriculum they have. So that is not for hotel management students. That is something for 12th pass students to do hotel management. You would all be, I think, eligible more for the HDP, HOT, as well as, any kind of other frontline programs that we have.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Right, thank you.
And so, ma'am, MT for how many interview occurs, ma'am? For MT rounds interview.
So as I said, you have about 4 different activities. You have a written test, you have a group discussion, you have a psychometric test, and the first personal interview. And if you clear all of this, then you get into the second round, which is more or less the final round.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
So about 5, series of activities that we do.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Students, please ask question if you have. you have any queries, you can ask. Okay, ma'am, I have one question from the final year student. He just write to me.
Yes,
The question
please.
is basically in MT level program, there are two processes by which student get entry. One is the direct they can apply, or they can join the company at the entry level, then internally they can apply.
Yeah.
Many
So,
of the students have a question in their mind that going onto a MT program through internally, I mean getting to a entry level job and then applying for MT is much more easier process than applying it directly.
so one, you're right. When you're a management trainee, when you apply for a management training program, there's nothing better than getting through the first time. I think for each one of us, when we apply, we all want to crack it the first time. And trust me, it's got nothing to do with just your ability. Because what happens is, and I'm not saying this for just Taj, if you see all companies, the top 3 companies in India, whether it's the Oberoi, ITC, or Taj, they choose about 20-25 students for the management training program, which is about 75 students pan India. 75 or maybe 100 students pan India get picked up for these top 3 companies. And most of the other companies also, if you include, maybe a total of 500 students across India may be getting into MT program, and then you have the other programs coming in. And if you see the number of students and campuses we have, it's huge. So sometimes you may be good, it's just that the day of the interview didn't click, or somebody was slightly better. So it does happen that you may not make it in the first time. So the second opportunity, which is as an internal candidate, works very well, because even if you didn't make it the first time, if you've got a good organization, and I don't mean just the Taj, any good organization, I think you should grab the opportunity and join them as a frontliner, because your performance of a year speaks volumes. And every year, I've seen it as a trend. I've been involved with the management training program since 2002 or 2003. And
Wow.
what I've seen is that each year as an organization, we do take at least 4 to 5 candidates additionally as internal candidates. So, what happens is, even if 10 people have joined internally, and out of that 2 or 3 can make it, so your uh, competition is lesser. You're right. Your competition when you're on campus is very huge. There'll be about, thousands of students who apply to campus interviews, and maybe 100 will make it. And when you're an internal candidate, there are only fewer numbers who will be applying. You have a better chance. Secondly, you have the performance of a year behind you. So 1 year of performance speaks volumes. An interview is really not required. So that works for you. So if you work towards it as an internal candidate, you can come in. So we as a trend take about 4 candidates internally every year. So that's a good question and a good point. I'm glad a student from a college says this, because generally, students feel if you don't make it the first time, then I will go into some other MT program. No, choose an organization which is good. Choose a hotel that's established. Even if you are, higher or lower on the levels, it doesn't matter. You'll eventually grow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So if there are no further questions, I would like to end today's meeting, students, by launching a poll. One last poll. Please answer quickly. The second question is multiple choice. The second question is multiple choice. You can choose more than one. Please hurry up. Only 60% have voted. Okay, you have 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and end. Now, this is Miss Vinti's report card for today. I would like to share the results. The first question was, would you like Miss Viniti to come to the campus to interact with you face to face? 4% said maybe, which is all right, because you're not rude. 29%. I'm very afraid, ma'am. These people can do anything. They can do anything. My own children, you know, they have in my own lap, they have, you know, dirtied my lap, you know, so they can do anything.
No, I understand. Absolutely.
29% said yes, and 68% are true hoteliers who said definitely yes. The second question was, will you pay more attention to your theory subjects? And this is a multiple choice question. So 43% said yes, I now understand that theory is very important. 61% said definitely yes. 25% said this disclosure by ma'am has been an eye-opener for me. Only 23%. That's bad, because it really touched my heart when she said that you have to be good in theory. If you have 40-50% marks in theory, it doesn't work for me, you know. Doesn't work for me and doesn't work for her also. And last but not the least, I will even take up one more foreign language. This is also something that I've been telling you. Ma'am, I've been taking part in French classes, recording them, posting them online on YouTube and posting them to their WhatsApp statuses and stuff, but they are not interested. Then end of the day, when I see how many people have seen that video, 30 people have seen the video, 40 people in a batch of 78. 30 people have seen the video, 35 people have seen the video.
And that's what I was saying, Mr. Mittal, that, you know, we can only bring them to a certain level or share information, but each one needs to take charge. And I think, like you're saying, the world around us is changing so drastically. Today, you don't notice, but, you know, you are in college, but people just 5 years, 6 years younger to you, or even 3 years younger to you, who are in school and have been doing online schooling, you'll be amazed with the kind of online activity the students are involved in. So they've started online tuitions, they've gone into additional courses. So all your summer activities, whether you want to learn dance, you want to learn a language, you want to learn a musical instrument, so people have, and students, the younger students have really started investing in themselves like that. Languages is a big thing today. Students who've not even cleared 12th, from 9th are getting into a foreign language. So before you know, they will actually, supersede. So we must act now, so that we are able to be relevant to the coming world. Because we still studied, I mean, even all of you studied the way you studied in school is similar, with less of social. But what's happened in the last 2 years, anyone who's been in school in the last 2 years has a completely different mindset.
Abhishek, sir?
Yes, sir.
Should we call it a day?
Yes, sir. Well, with this, we come to an end of our session, and it was a very interesting session. And also for the future, we look forward, Mr. Rawat, to be with us. And if everything becomes normal, we look forward to welcome you. And in last, I would like to thank the management for providing such a beautiful platform, especially to our principal, sir, for organizing all these things. And with this good note, I seek the permission of principal, sir, to end this session.
I would like Abhinav, sir, to formally end the session, please. Abhinav, sir, is a faculty in housekeeping, ma'am. He is also the coordinator, and he's a very senior and a very dedicated person. He's an Oberoi staff,
Okay.
Am I audible to everyone?
You are, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Respected guest of the day, very good evening to you. Ma'am, I would like to thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to guide and motivate our students. Secondly, I would like to thank our management and our principal, Chef Anand Mittal sir, for organizing this opportunity for all of us. Before ending this session officially, I would highlight few key points which ma'am has focused, and they have really touched me.
Very
And
good. Very good.
I would like them so that students should also note them. The first point ma'am said was that you need to start today only. That tomorrow never comes. Today is the day where you need to
Correct.
start.
Correct.
Then she discussed a point where she has told us the relation between college and industry, how we are colliding with each other, how we are coping up with each other so that we can move forward. Then she focused on few qualities of a successful student. That is, the student need to be curious, motivated, resourceful, goal oriented, and they need to believe in themselves. Then this part of the slide, this has a very impact on myself. That is the definition of the focus, which she highlighted was that F is for focus on the course basics. Then O is for online university. Then C is for courses to complement. U is for upgrade your technical skills, and S is for subject matter expert or your passion. So these are the points which I also tell my students, and ma'am has rightly told the students so that they need to focus. Then she has covered a small part which says that company look for what. This is the one point which our students want to know every time, that companies look for your technical knowledge, your skills, and your attitude. And your attitude is the most important part. Lastly, what ma'am has said very truly, that choose a small piece and do wonders. You do not need to make a cake. You do not need to have the complete book. You choose one part of the book. Let's say if you're interested in food and beverage, you choose wine. If you are interested in housekeeping, you choose flowers, and you can do wonders. You should know everything regarding that particular subject, and you should do wonders with that. Lastly, I would once again like to thank Ms. Vinti for taking our time and enlightening our students. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Abhinav.
Thank you so much,
Wonderful,
ma'am.
and I think you recapped it really well for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I'd
so much, ma'am.
also like to thank Principal Sir. I think Mr. Mittal, I wish we could have come on campus, because you've been, following up, and we've been in touch since a year. But somehow, because of the pandemic, in fact, Vinod and I planned to come together a couple of times, but we couldn't. So I'm really hopeful that once things are better, I get to meet you in person and see the campus, because I think there's some wonderful work you're doing there. And
this time I'll make sure that you come.
I
Personally.
will.
Personally, I'll send my own car for you if you want.
Tushar was telling me that he's been there last year, and we were speaking about it. And I look forward to interacting again. Also, I think your audience has been wonderful. Some very interesting thoughts and questions, and very unlike certain college students, a few questions that got asked, I think very interesting ones. So thank you so much. It also talks a lot about the way you've been hand-holding and counseling them. So thank you, sir, and we'll connect again. Yes.
Ma'am, my blessings to you. My blessings to all the students, to all the teachers. Please stay safe. Please protect yourselves. COVID is not going to go away for the next, I don't know, a long time. So please save yourselves, protect yourselves, and may God bless you. And thank you, ma'am, once again, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, students.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir.